All right, everybody, what is going on? This is episode 591 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am Via Baller over here. We talk about Georgia Southern Atlanta Falcons football. And today we're going to talk Georgia Southern. This episode is going to be all about Georgia Southern. I haven't given Georgia Southern much love lately. Not much has been going on. But lately, pretty much the last couple of weeks, there has been some movement going on within the program. And I want to discuss that because with all the stuff that's going on with the Falcons, I kind of missed out on a few things, but I'm going to talk about three things in this show. I'm going to talk about a couple of commits that we got. Well, two things. Two of the commits that we got from the transfer portal, and we got the schedule for the first three games of the season. So we're going to talk about what time those games are going to be played. So pretty interesting time for Georgia Southern. We're moving right along, and I'm going to tell you once again, Coach Clay Helton is pretty much doing what he set out to do. He want to make this program the platinum standard when it comes to a group of five schools. So if you're here for Falcon stuff, and I know that, a lot of people are here because of the Falcon stuff, I want you to take the time to understand Georgia Southern football if you haven't already, because I want to let you guys know, even though the Bulldogs are doing their thing in Athens, I still feel that Georgia Southern is the second best team in the state. And it's some exciting football going on down here. It's been exciting football for decades. Had a little rough, few years, but for the most part, we have been like the standard of excellence down here in Georgia Southern as far as winning and winning national titles, even though if it, albeit one AA, still winning national titles. It is what it is. So let's go ahead and get into this. If this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. I want to thank you guys for the support once again. Please continue to support. Hit that like button. Share this podcast. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let everybody know what we're doing over here. We're just trying to make the most comprehensive Georgia Southern Atlanta Falcons talk on the on the web, basically. Like, I'm all over the podcast avenues, which I'm thankful for that, and on YouTube and Rumble. Also, the website, firstandframerates.com. Go check that out. Over there, you can support your boy and subscribe to the podcast while you're at it. All right, first and foremost, before I get into these two studs that we just got commits from, I want to talk about Amari Jones. If you don't know anything about Amari Jones, he was a standout at Georgia Southern, did very well for us ever since he transferred from Tulane. Unfortunately, his season was kind of cut short due to an injury, but he was a little bit of everything for us. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, he played punt return. He did a little bit of everything. He got he has an opportunity to play football in the CFL. He's going to be playing for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I can't wait to see this kid do some things because he is immensely talented. I still think he should have went to the NFL as an undrafted free agent, but he has an opportunity to show off what he can do. And I think he's going to be pretty special. He's a pretty good player. I mean, you can go and put him anywhere on the field. Hell, you probably even put him on defense if you need to. And he could do some things. So shout out to Amari Jones. Hopefully that he will make something happen in the CFL. Excuse me. All right, let's go ahead and get into these two guys, these two young men that have transferred from Big Ten play, went up there, played some Big Ten ball, or got familiar with Big Ten ball, but decided to come back home and play for the Georgia Southern Eagles. Two guys played at Griffin High in Griffin, Georgia, not too far from the Atlanta area, pretty much where I am right now. Didn't know much about Griffin High School for the most part, but it just goes to show you that, Coach Clay Helton has a vision all over this country. This is exactly what I was telling you about yesterday when it comes to, the tampering situation. Now, I can't say that he's doing anything under those notions. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and cast those aspersions. I don't know. I don't think so. Because it seems like he's been on the up and up, but in the SEC is a problem. But we just talked about it yesterday. He has eyes everywhere. And with him and his staff, they're going around looking for players that want to play football and want to play right, want to play the right way, want to play in a system that will benefit them, play, closer to home where their family and friends could watch them play. And with Prince Green and Brandon Calloway from Griffin High, 1 year apart from each other, they played on the same high school. They both decided to come to Georgia Southern to play. Now, let's talk about Brandon Calloway first. Brandon Calloway ended up committing to Purdue after being at Griffin High School. Not many stats on him. They said he played 9 games in his freshman year, but the sophomore year he didn't see any. Well, he didn't see any action in. I'm sorry, he played 9 games in 2022, but didn't see any action in 2021. I've been trying to look for stats for him. I couldn't find any, but nevertheless, he does have some Big Ten, experience playing in a Power 5 school, coming down to play for a Group of 5, in my opinion, with a Power 5 coach. And I think this is going to be phenomenal because after us losing, we lost Derek Canteen. We end up losing, Tyler Bride. And I forgot who else we lost. Goodness, who that? We lost them to go to Minnesota. It could have been Tyler Bride. But we lost Anthony Wilson as well. So we lost some guys in the transfer portal. But we did get some guys back. And like I said, Brandon Callaway is one of those guys who's going to be playing cornerback for us. I don't know where he's going to fit in on the depth chart, but with him having 3 years of eligibility, him being home, you could probably look at this kid. It's probably going to be one of those guys that's probably going to be here the entire time. And that just goes to show you what this coaching staff is trying to do. They're trying to build something, and they're trying to build something within the state of Georgia. I remember last year when they went to every county looking for talent. And I'm pretty sure they're doing that again. They did that again this year. And it's just amazing to see that. Now, the second person that they looked at was Prince Green, another guy that was at Griffin, Georgia, another standout. I don't think he had any playing time at Illinois, but the fact he was there and was able to see what Big Ten ball is like, it does give them that experience. So once they do come into the Group of 5, it just gives them added extra ability to play at a high level. Also, neither one of these guys didn't play much football, so there's a lot of tread on that tire, as well as them having the eligibility to do so. So both of these guys had 3-year eligibility. It's going to be really cool to see guys that are pretty much highly, sought after. I mean, you had a few teams that really wanted to go after these guys. I mean, even when you look at Prince Green, Purdue actually went after, him as well. So him and Callaway could have been on the same team at Purdue. But like I said, once again, they decided to come home and play at Georgia Southern. Like I said, highly recruited. Both of them are 3-star recruits. Prince Green standing at 6'3", 205. He is a huge cornerback, probably play a little bit of safety. Depends on where they want him. Also, when you look at Brandon Callaway is standing at 6'2", 175. So you got some really big cornerbacks. Now, what's going to happen to everybody else? Pretty much everyone else that's around, that's playing right, that's on the team, everybody's going to have to make their way on the field. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, you kind of saw it with other cornerbacks when you saw, Ashton Whitner, you saw Mark Stampley. Ashton Whitner ended up hitting the transfer portal, which, I'm kind of disappointed in that. I really wish he would have hung around. But when you saw, Mark Stampley, he was able to make himself on the field. Like, when you look at these other guys who are on the team right now, what are they going to do? I mean, my thing is, it's just going to just continue to be what it is when it comes to getting these guys prepared to play football. You go out there, you perform. Coach Clay Helton is really going to get these guys out there. And I really firmly believe that. So you still got some guys who have committed, some freshmen that they're really just going to learn the world of college. Because, K'Mon Mathis is an excellent looking cornerback that we got from Texas. I want to see what he does. I think he's probably going to be one of those guys, from what I see. I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, his numbers and what he was capable of doing, might be kind of hard to keep him off the field. But at the same time, most of these DBs don't really stay on the field all game. There is a lot of rotation goes on, especially when you have a defense like Georgia Southern. You're going to have a lot of guys moving around and doing different things. And guys with this size on there, I wouldn't be surprised they have to get these guys getting in the box and trying to make some tackles. So this is a really good look overall when you look at what's going on with Georgia Southern. I mean, you still got other defensive backs that got some size to them. I mean, really, like, you talking about 6'1", 6'2", in some cases 6'3" cornerbacks and safeties. TJ Smith, and you also have that came in. You still got Tyrell Davis, another guy. I mean, the list goes on and on. Georgia Southern is pretty stacked when it comes to what they got on both sides of the ball. And looking at the spring game, look like the defense is going to continue to get better. So when you lose, a Tyler Bride, or you lose Derek Canteen, and you lose Ashton Whitner, you lose Anthony Wilson, and you turn back around and you get other guys that's coming in, like a Brandon Callaway or a Prince Green, it looks like things are going to continue to just move right along. You hate to lose these people. It's one of the reasons why I don't like the transfer portal, because it's too much moving and shaking. But they do have their, they do have some of their positives. I mean, I cannot deny. And I think for the most part, like I said, Coach Clay Helton has done a pretty decent job of bringing talent in. And unfortunately, it does pain my heart sometimes. I do see some guys that I've gotten attached to kind of get in a situation where they have to transfer. So it's kind of a give and take. And it's really bittersweet. But nevertheless, we're going to see how this goes when you continue to see what Coach Clay Helton do, bringing these two former Griffin High standouts to actually come on the field. And it's kind of interesting to see how that plays out. All right, before we get out of here, one more thing. We got the schedule for the first 3 games of the season. So you're going to see the defense on display. September 2nd against the Citadel. They're going to be coming to Paulson at 6 p.m. Mark your calendars. Look like that I could be able to make that game on a Saturday, September 2nd. Also, a week from that, September 9th, UAB comes to Georgia Southern. Somewhat of a revenge game. They kind of beat up on us when we was in Birmingham last year. Hopefully we can get some get back there. This defense looks much better. Hopefully they could be able to tackle a little bit more, because that was our Achilles heel. So these first 2 games, Citadel, don't want to look past them, but that's kind of considered a warm-up game. But then you turn around, you look at UAB, that's going to be a formidable opponent. Now, the big game, probably one of the biggest games of the year for Georgia Southern outside of Appalachian State and Georgia State. We're going up to Wisconsin. September 16th, 12 p.m. is going to be a midday game playing at Wisconsin on the Big Ten Network. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to that game. I'm not flying up there to Wisconsin to go to that game, but I know Georgia Southern's going to represent very well. They did very well when they went up against Nebraska, ended up beating Nebraska. Wisconsin is going to be a tough opponent. I'm not going to lie. They made some moves themselves to get back into the good graces of the Big Ten. So we took 2 Big Ten players, but we're going to go up against a Big Ten opponent. And I'm not going to say this is an L, but this is going to be a tough game. In the back of my mind, I'm still kind of weary of the Marshall game. I don't know why, but the Marshall game is one game that I'm more worried about than anything. It's kind of weird, it's kind of like last year. I was worried about the UAB game more than the Nebraska game. And it turned out the way it panned out the way I thought it to be. UAB ended up smacking us around, and we end up beating Nebraska. I'm not sure about this Wisconsin game because I don't know what we really have this year. Last year, I kind of knew what we had, but this year, I don't really know for certain. I know the defense is a little bit better, but I got to see what Davis Brin in this offense is going to do. If I can get these guys to see how they're going to be moving, then we'll kind of get an idea of what's going to happen. The Citadel and the UAB game, especially with both being at Paulson, will give us an idea of what we can do. But we do go on the road and play Wisconsin, so I don't know. So let me know what you guys think. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Look, man, we got two new standouts from Griffin, went to the Big Ten, played at Purdue or Illinois. Now they're going to come down and play for Georgia Southern. They're back home. They're going to be in front of their family and friends. Pretty cool to see, along with everybody else that's at Georgia Southern now. And the defense, the way they're playing, the offense always been clicking since last year. We're going to be a tough team to deal with. It's just how it is. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google Podcasts. Thank you guys for the support. Go and hit that like button. Share this podcast once again. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm also on Twitter at VFBaller. And I could be found on firstandframerates.com. Go over there and check your boy out. And you can come over there and support your boy and check out the website. It's pretty neat, kind of bare bones, but I think it's neat. All right, y'all, 591 is in the books. I will see you guys on Thursday evening. Thank you guys once again, and I am out of here. You guys take it easy, and you guys be blessed. Peace.